besides the Third Avenue who are getting just killed, how about those massive funds who've made a ton of money over the years? Are we going to see more shift to say, you know what, I'm going to hang it up. I'm going to go family office style?
These things have come in waves. If you go back to 2010, Stan Druckenmiller, Pellegrini, who was Paulson's right-hand man. Paolo started and stopped. Rick Grabrani was one of the big hitters at Highfields, if you remember him, with the car keys. That wave occurred. Now you look at someone like maybe a Ray Dalio, a Louis Bacon. You could see a lot of the movement in that, and I think that that's part of the challenge. But where I think the numeric numbers are going to collapse is going to be in these people who are playing tag-along, event-driven, tag-along, basically highly long-biased, taking 20% of the 20% of the profits from what in many cases was nothing but market returns driving your actual performance.
Do you basically mean all those guys who are high yield and mortgage traders at banks who said, I don't like what I'm getting paid here, I'm the man, I'm going to go start my own fund? Now that it's hard to generate alpha, they're realizing this hedge fund thing, not so easy.
Not necessarily, yes, but not the high yield and mortgage traders that you're talking about, though the high yield guys have got a headwind of some magnitude. The mortgage guys have, can go either way, rates up, rates down. They're one of the few that can profit in a rates up, rates down environment. The guys that are really going to get caught are the activist investor guys, the event-driven guys. If we look at the correlation, if we look up, the correlation for you. Thank you very much.
But wait, when you say that activist guys are going to get caught,
activist investor hedge funds and the S&P, the correlation is 0.85, so incredibly high.
Yeah. Incredibly high. And if you actually go back 5 years, there's been 2 months in which the S&P has been down more than 1%, where the average activist hasn't been down. At some point, and what we're seeing is a sharp rotation out of those activists, or shall we call it so-called activists, because a lot of those returns were beta, and actually rotating into more market-neutral strategies, potentially the mortgage-backed rates. And if we look at it, the biggest launches that have been out there have been global macro launches.
But that makes no sense. Don't you remember last year, whether we're talking to the guys from Man Group or otherwise, who macro was so hard last year, Mike Novogratz shut it down.
That's exactly right, but we've seen, this is part of that generational shift where a lot more people are doing it.
This is what I want to know. If several years ago, the hotshots coming out of Goldman wanted to start a new hedge fund, where are they going to go now? If hedge fund's not the place to go, where's the place to go now?
That's an awesome question.
Everyone's hope is private equity. That way you can't get redemptions. But most likely also, you know what? They'll be staying at Goldman's. Because suddenly, their friend who quit and was a big hitter, it doesn't look so much. Edward Eisler, left Goldman's, big hero, started a fund that was Sub-Saharan Africa. That went bust. Now he's launching a macro fund, and he's raised a couple of $1 billion. He's gotten another chance, but that doesn't happen very often. But if you're good and you're doing something that's non-correlated, we look at Scott Benson. He's raised $4.5 billion for a new global macro fund. Ask yourself, is the demand for non-correlated assets going to be going up or going to be going down? And will people have realized what Matt pulled up, that a lot of this trades that they'd seen previously as being hedge fund returns in the activists was actually just beta. And very expensive beta.
Private equity firms have learned their lesson. 5 years ago, when they were all rushing to build hedge fund strategies, we saw Claren Road clearly not do very well under Carlyle, and some of those private equity firms are saying, you know what, maybe hedge fund strategies aren't for us.
Yes, and you know what else the private equity guys did? They tended to buy desks off and that's a bad idea.
Fabio Sabadelli, adjunct professor at Columbia Graduate School of Business. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, Fabio.